Well, plywood, like the ceramic tiles industry, has a large number of unorganized players in the market, and that's hurting players like Century Plyboards. The country's largest ply maker has not been able to hike prices for some time now, and the MDF segment, which commands higher margins, is also facing headwinds from the unorganized players. That's not stopped the company from going ahead from setting up a new plant in UP. So what Century Plyboards betting on? Let's ask the company's managing director, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal. Mr. Agarwal, thanks very much for taking out the time. So the concerns are pretty much out there with regards to, the glut that's happening, the oversupply that's coming in the MDF market, the competitive pressure that you're facing within the plyboard market, and the margin pressures that the company and more of the organized player within the same industry are likely to face. So what is the rationale behind adding on more capacities at this juncture?
You see, there are two aspects to it. One is that this is the time when actually the industry is lying low. But we all know that there is a cycle to every industry and every product. So a major player in every industry must be ready when the time comes back. So only those people will lose who are not ready to reap the harvest when the time comes back. The time will come back. You look at the steel industry, those people who could stay in the steel industry and could augment the capacities have reaped the benefits in last some time actually. So similarly in our industry, we feel that we are a major in the industry and we should be ready with more and more capacities across the country. So, and we have reached about 80-85% capacity utilization in our present plant. So that's why we are trying to augment our capacities, and we are looking at even augmenting our capacity at Punjab. We have got a license at Lucknow. There also we are planning that maybe today or maybe in a short while we will plan and finalize and maybe go ahead with another plant. So all that are usual things. Very frankly, I don't think that these are very courageous or very big moves actually. That's how we feel.
All right. The other part being, obviously, this is a more longer-term outlook that you have, and you want to capitalize on the growth opportunity when it comes knocking at the door. But from an immediate point of view, I mean, most of the brokerage reports and the concerns that they raise are that plywood margins are likely to continue to remain under some amount of pressure. Now, be it the product mix shift, be it the non-premium plywood segment, cannibalization from the MDF market, you do have a presence in MDF, but that doesn't contribute much to your revenues versus plywood. So there is an anticipation that the pressures within the plywood space is going to continue to remain. How would you factor that in?
See, as far as the margins in plywood industry is concerned, it's a little crisscross at the moment. The little bit of prices have gone up as far as the plantation timber is concerned, but because of the dollar rupee rupee is improving, and the other side is your phenol. It's a very big raw material for us. So phenol prices have gone down after the prices of petroleum have gone down. So actually I really don't see that there is much of a change in our cost and there is too much pressure on our profitability. Yes, as an industry as a whole, and we are trying to actually make very strong inroad into the markets. You see, ultimately in a market of 20,000 crores, we are only 1,100 crores as far as our panel is concerned. So you see, we have a huge market available to us, and we have actually planned a very big strategy across the country. We reach out probably out of the 50,000 retailers, we are reaching out to maybe 8,000, 10,000 or 11,000 outlets. So we have actually a very big possibility, and we have taken a very focused and planned effort to reach out to at least 20 to 22,000 outlets in the next 1 year or 2 year time. So we feel that we have a lot of possibility, and actually all these markets and all these profit pressures are not a very big deal for us actually. We are looking at a long-term perspective. The other thing you said about MDF, cutting into the market or cannibalizing the market of plywood. You see, MDF is a very cheap product. It is cheaper than the local plywood. So MDF is actually not cutting into the Century Ply kind of a product actually. The Century Ply is used by people who are in the top say 5, 7% or 10% or 15% of the bracket in the country. So, it really does not make a difference to company like Century Ply. They are replacing the local village users, or maybe the guys who make cheap ready-made furniture and all that. So that is being replaced. So I believe that in times to come, that is the area, those are the people, the local manufacturers, they have to watch for their market, because MDF is going to take over. In every other country, they have taken 80% of the market share. In India, maybe it will take 50% or 60% of the market share, but it will. It's
Yeah.
slow, steady. It will happen.
And you're going to be there to capitalize on that when that happens too? I mean,
Naturally, that's what we know and that's what we do, isn't it?
yeah. So what do you expect to up your, MDF contributions to, from about 13%, I think, on revenue, to what? Plyboards is about 57 odd percent. So would you see a structural shift in terms of giving more focus to MDF in the coming few quarters, or in the coming few years rather?
No, our focus is on both sides. We don't think that the plywood markets for company like Century Ply will go down. For us, the market is growing because we are just 5% of the market. So for us, there is a huge possibility. And similarly, on MDF side also, we have huge possibility. So we expect that both the markets, we should be doubling in next 4 years or so. We should be in MDF. Actually, yes, our capacity will not only double, but maybe much more than double in next 4 years time. But as far as plywood is concerned, we expect our total turnover or total capacities to build up maybe in next 4 to 5 years, maybe double. So to give you a percentage, very frankly, I'm a little weak as far as these numbers are concerned. So I can give you a broad direction which the company is following right now.
Okay. The other point, obviously, being while we're talking about MDF, the concerns now is that there's been a bunching up of large capacity additions within the MDF market in a very short span of time, which is affecting utilization levels for the entire industry, which is at the lower end, and that could further put pricing pressure. So how would you deal and tackle that?
You see, it is not only the pricing in the market. The customer or the dealer or the influencer looks into it as a whole bunch of the value, actually, what value we offer. So as a Century Ply, it was very easy for us to get into the market. So the number one was we got the best of the team. It was very easy for us to get the right team, actually, and which is actually motivator or pusher for everything in the market. The number two was actually we were known to people, so we could make our foray into the big dealers or the good dealers immediately. The number three, our company is known as a very good company which has no problems or no disputes in the market. So that helped us. Number four is when we came into MDF was actually doing very well. So the customers' complaints were not being attended very well. We came in and we decided that no complaint at the month end. We should not have a single complaint which is pending. So right now also I check every beginning of the month and I find that maybe there is one or two complaints are there, but most of the complaints which have been raised have been solved to the satisfaction of the customer. And I think all these value things, and people are looking at Century Ply as a future in MDF. So again, people like to stick with people who have future. So we feel that the whole value basket we offer, we have reached 85% capacity utilization or 80% capacity utilization, and very soon I think when we come up with the new capacity, we have absolute faith that we will be able to, within 1.5 years, we will be able to utilize that capacity also to that extent of 80-85%. Yes, the total capacity in the industry has gone up, and that is good for us in a way because no new player will come into this. That's a very big comfort to us. Otherwise, so many players from glass to tiles to unknown people in the industry who does not have industry were actually looking at coming into this industry, because this industry was really boiling about 1.5 years back, actually, with profits and with demand from the market. So I think it's a good thing to happen with an industry, that it's now stable, and slowly, yes, in 1 year time or in 1.5 year time, everything will settle and we will have more capacities and more market.
Mr. Agarwal, just one question, Neeraj here. I remember the last time that we were talking, you spoke about phenol and how despite Deepak Nitrite starting off this big capacity, you're not getting that. By the way, sorry, Mr. Agarwal, just a moment. Just need to mark the index once for a minute before we get back to this conversation. At 11,762, we are hitting new highs on the Nifty. So the benchmark indices are at fresh record highs. This is an important landmark. 20 days after it happened for the first time, and there were, talks of whether or not this could continue, etc., and all of that. I think it's been an exceptional move that our markets have given. So good going here for the Nifty. We'll try and get in some opinion in just moments from now about what to do now or what could happen now that we've hit this 11,762 mark and the markets could, whether or not they can move up further or no. So we'll get that phone in a bit. But just one last question to Mr. Sanjay Agarwal on this. Mr. Agarwal, you had mentioned about phenol prices and how, or phenol availability being a constraint, even though Deepak Nitrite set up that capacity. I heard you mention in this interview earlier that phenol prices have come off as well. What's the outlook out there on the availability and on pricing?
You see, availability of phenol actually now is very, very good. There is no problem at all, and that's why the prices have gone down because of two things. One is the Deepak Nitrite thing, the large capacity has come in. But yes, they are quite good at maintaining the market, and they are actually somehow being able to manage the prices well. Otherwise, the prices would have gone down further. But the basic reason the prices have gone down is the dollar rupee. That is one reason. And another reason is the petroleum prices. So these are very basic things which no manufacturer can actually go against. What the manufacturer can do is actually, suppose there is a big large manufacturer in South Africa and they are one, the Deepak Nitrite are one, and they can have some kind of working. I don't say that they are joining hands. They cannot, because these are two different giants. But then somehow they work in such a fashion that they can manage the pricing. And it's very easy for Deepak Nitrite to supply to the smaller players in the country. And anybody who wants to get phenol from South Africa, it takes a lot of time, a lot of money, because you require a large quantity to bring in. So that's how actually the prices have still not gone down. But I believe that ultimately with such large capacities, it will not be possible for Deepak Nitrite to hold the prices. The prices has to go down and reach a level which is acceptable to the world market, simply.
Okay. We'll leave it at that, Mr. Agarwal. Thank you so much for throwing clarity on this, and all the best for the quarter.
Thank you.